Acceptance, or should I say it differently? Acceptance. 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 Make it bigger. Okay. Acceptance. I'm Carl. I am an addict alcoholic, and you are...
I am Lindsey, and I am an alcoholic, and my sobriety date is September 6th, 2015, and Carl's is August 22nd, 2014.
Because I forgot it. Yeah, I forgot it. So this is SoberPod.
Soberpod.com. Yeah, SoberPod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.
SoberPod is a podcast dedicated to the idea that one addict or alcoholic helping another is crucial to building a life in recovery. Join us this season, or at least for this episode, as we read from our books, 366 Effing Days Sober, which is my book. You can get that going to soberpod.com. Or Lindsey's book, which is Spirit Vigilante, and you can get that by going to thespiritvigilante.com. And we will be reading on the topic of acceptance. Lindsey, how you doing?
I'm good, but did I just get fired on air?
No, why? What did I say?
You said for this episode, you said, and joining us this season, or at least for this episode.
Yeah, but I did. Well, yeah, or at least for this. I mean, who knows? We could change it, is what I'm saying. Like, we could change it to not read these books. Okay. You know, I'm just saying. For this season, or at least the rest of this Hey, you're just gonna have to accept things as they come. You're teaching me acceptance
in real time. I get it. We'll see.
You can't control me. You can't control what I say.
Apparently not. Yeah. So
no, you're not getting fired in real time. That would be detrimental to my health. Let's just say.
Okay.
There you go.
Likewise.
So Lindsey, how you doing? What are you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing great. What's going on? I just launched, I don't know if I've talked about it yet. I just launched something that I call the Spirit Vigilante Experience. And so people have been requesting an audiobook from me since the day my physical book came out. And I am giving even more than that. So it's an 8-week container, an 8-week experience of me reading different parts of my book, reflections, writing prompts, videos. So that's available on my website right now, thespiritvigilante.com. So check it out. That's my.
So you did like all the audio for it, and
so it's not
video as well?
It's not complete audio, but yeah. So each week is a different phase, since there's 8 phases of my book, and I read parts of the chapter that I think are pertinent to walking the Spirit Vigilante experience in your life, and I do a lesson.
Is it free on your website, or do you have to pay to be a subscriber?
You have to pay to be part of the experience. It's $88. Mm-hmm. But I do have a free offer, flat $88 for the 8 weeks. You can join anytime. Okay. If people are interested in a free offer, I do have a 5-day email course called Right to Heal. And that's about, reclaiming yourself through your writing and writing your story and letting go of old beliefs and identities and roles. So lots of stuff. Go to thespiritvigilante.com.
Oh, good stuff.
How about you? How's it going?
That's awesome. Look at you doing stuff. Well, I have nothing to offer at the moment. I do. I just went to the doctor and he said I don't have any tumors, so that's a good deal, right? So I have good news to offer.
Congratulations.
The general things, and then I have my appointments as scheduled, basically for December and January to do additional treatments, and after that, whatever comes next. Talk about acceptance.
Yes,
but I was really hesitant today because I really thought I was going to get like that in the cystoscopy appointment, I really thought my whole brain was like, he's gonna say tumor. Just hold your,
Really?
just wait for it. Wait.
No.
Oh yeah, I know. I just really felt like it though. So I'm really glad that didn't happen.
Good.
Just to be honest. Yeah.
I'm glad.
So what are we doing today? Talking about acceptance. Why are we talking about acceptance? Why? Because it's always like in AA, I nothing will make my eyes roll in my head any harder than hearing the topic of fucking acceptance. Like, I just, God damn me, like, I just, acceptance is the answer to all my problems today, and blah blah blah. And I just kind of go. So when I caught the outline that we were looking at, I really like the idea, especially reading from your book about the practicality of acceptance, right. Like, because sometimes we hear it like it's some magical fucking cure to whatever ails us, right? Or it's like, and I love my old sponsor, the one who died. Like, I love the way he put things all the time. It was like, he would always talk about like the serenity prayer, and he was like, he's like, well, try to do it backwards almost, right? He was like, like, there are things that you can change, right? Like, don't forget that there's shit that you can change. And then the other thing, which is like, just because it was, just because I have to accept it doesn't mean I have to like it, right?
Right.
Which I kind of like that idea, because it gives me some, I get to own my feelings about it. Are you okay? Is something going on?
No, I'm like trying to shift.
Do you need to go put on like new underwear or something?
No. I was, this table's like wobbly and I was adjusting it.
Oh. It just looked like you were like adjusting more than just a table.
Well, I am adjusting. I have like a pillow. I have a lot going on here. I have like a pillow behiund my back. I'm just going to
leave that in the edit just so people can understand what just happened. Anyway.
Great.
So I guess owning like your feelings around the acceptance, it's like, I mean, is that part of like your understanding as well? Or do you go into that at all?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was, what prompted this whole thing was actually this fall concept of letting go and shedding what no longer serves us. I think it's a really great time of year to do that, and to carry from the last season what we want to keep, let go of what we don't, and then what do we want to walk into and step into. But in order to do that, we need to accept where we are right now. Mm-hmm. And so a big thing that I go by is that acceptance isn't necessarily resignation or giving up or saying, I am perfectly okay with everything how it is and I am not going to do anything to change it. I have no power over it or anything like that. It's just almost like an acknowledgement of right now it's like this. Mm-hmm. Period.
Read your
right now.
Read your portion from your book on what is it, in the shed chapter? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So
section.
Yeah, let me figure out where I want to. Okay. So you must accept yourself unconditionally right now in this moment, no matter the layers. This is not just to say the physical skin, but also the proverbial skin we have been discussing, flaws and all. Throughout my lost years, self-love was a foreign concept. I honestly could not wrap my mind around even liking myself, but acceptance felt a little softer and easier to digest. Carl Rogers said, the curious paradox is that when I accept myself just the way I am, then I can change. Acceptance does not come overnight. Sometimes you must first act as if you accept yourself. Consider, what would a confident person do here? What would someone I look up to do? Then do that. After all, we are very good actors. We have spent our lives reading a collectively and culturally curated script. You are right where you are supposed to be in the natural part of your cycle. Everything you have ever gone through, good, bad, dark, light, hard, easy, simple, complex, shallow, deep, has led you to this place, to this skin you are in. Feel appreciation in this moment, because this attitude will move you closer to reading the real script, the one that reflects you and only you. To thine own self be true. What does that spark in you, if anything?
Well, there's a few things that always trigger me, like in like a real
Yeah.
negative way. The one is like,
Uh-oh.
when my sponsor would tell me, when I call him and I would bitch about whatever, and I would just be like, her, him, them, whatever it was, and then he'd say, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I'd be like, fuck you too. You know what I mean? Like, that's the last thing I want to hear. Like, I don't want to fucking hear that's it. You know what I mean?
But looking back, can you trust that? Like, looking back on your life and your timeline, can you trust that you were where you were meant to be?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I can totally understand, but when you're new in recovery, when you're just getting into it, like these are foreign concepts. These are
Of
not.
course.
I know it may be new to or old to regular people who have been able to emotionally regulate and not be a fucking child most of their days, but those people who matured and who took life on life's terms most of their lives think that's just like duh, like no shit, Sherlock kind of information. But for me, as a person who has just woken up in recovery, that just sounds like pure bullshit, and I don't want anything to do with it. And I'm angry at those kinds of statements for a reason, because what do I want to do, right? Why do you think I'm complaining about that thing to begin with? I'm angry. I'm pissed off. How do I change this stuff? With him and them and da-da-da-da. And it's got to be, and I'm the victim, et cetera, right? Because I'm not accepting of those things. That's why I'm bitching about it to begin with. So yeah, I can see, like, in hindsight, like, oh yeah, like my sponsor who did have, the wisdom to know the difference, like, could easily judge based off of that conversation about, like, oh, what's going on with Carl, and he's just giggling on the other end of the phone the whole time. He's just making a sandwich, thinking about, like, well, I'll let him talk about this for about another 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And then I'll say, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and that will enrage him, and he will giggle even more at that, right? Because that's just pure wisdom speaking, So I had a lot of moments like that it's. Because you said it in your reading, it's like it's a process. It literally will take you time and time again, and you'll just continue to be sick and tired of whatever situation it is, and then suddenly, not that it wasn't always there, but suddenly you will actually find a way to accept it, right? Like, and then when you do, it's like you'll feel like, why the hell did I do that? All those years, like, why was it so painful, right? Why did it take so long? Did you ever? What was your one sticking point getting into recovery with your level of acceptance? What's the one thing that kept coming back? Yet, it's like talking about my tumors coming back. What was your one tumor that kept coming back that could not be lanced, boiled, or gotten rid of, but you just kept going back and saying
that I couldn't accept?
But then finally you did. Like, what's the one thing?
Probably thinking that I wasn't actually an alcoholic and just wanting the pain to stop and being willing to try anything, but still kind of on the fence about the whole, do I really have a problem? Am I really an alcoholic thing? And I see acceptance similar to, not exactly, but similar to surrendering. And so once I surrendered, I was able to accept. And like I said, seeing it rather than, like I said, acceptance sounds so final and resigning and like hands up in the air, I give up. And that's more of surrender to me, to the right things. Acceptance is like this clarity around reality. It's the opposite of denial, really. So once I could accept that I am an alcoholic, just like Carl Rogers said, then I could change. But it wasn't until you can't change something you're not acknowledging. If you're in a fantasy world that's not reality, you can't change it. So it was really acknowledging with clarity my reality. And once I finally accepted that, I was able to really be on the path.
And I view like wrestling with acceptance almost in the same vein as like wrestling with grief, right? It's like you go through all these like really weird stages of like, oh, I'll try this or I'll try that, or like, you know, and they talk about it in like the big book, try taking a drink, not taking a drink, swearing off forever with and without a solemn oath, whatever, you're going on vacation, not going on vacation, you know what I mean? Like whatever, drinking natural wines, whatever.
You got the job, drinking, you lost the job. Like,
all those things. It's like you just gotta go like, at some point, like you go through all these different stages of like, when it comes to trying to accept your alcoholism. By the way, that is the one thing for me when it comes to acceptance that absolutely changed my entire trajectory as it relates to recovery. So as before, I always had this, just the acceptance that I am the addict alcoholic, that I have this nature, that I am this type of person, and I will never really see I will never be able to take another substance without it being alcoholic. And then I went even further, but that just alone really changed everything for me. The moment I was like it says in the big book, isn't that terrible? I keep referencing the big book, but is like the moment I really see that like I am one of these people, that I just go like, okay, so if I'm one of them, what do I have to do? Because clearly, like I've tried to do all those things, and it's true what they say. I tried it all. I really did. I really, tried drinking beer only, tried switching from, vodka to rum, which is, again, all these other, I even like doing, foo-foo drinks. I try mixing my own drinks because maybe that'll slow the process or something. I just learned how to mix faster.
All of the rules, trying to control and count. I'll just have a few every night, and I had all of these formulas, and then the next morning it would just be like, oh, I guess I changed my mind. But I think what the lesson here is for both of us is once we did accept, then we were able to experience that freedom. Well, that was on the other side of that.
And now it's almost like a new pair of glasses kind of stuff, which is now that I'm looking at this information, now I see it very differently because I've truly evaluated my drinking. I've understood that and my life as it relates to that drinking, and I no longer see it as some dude I was talking to the other day, he tried to say some of the same stuff I said to other people, which is like, I had a problem when I was younger, but I just, I matured, I'm no longer doing hard stuff, or, whatever it is that you end up saying. And I just stopped him and I said, dude, I'm not going to judge you for any amount of your drinking. And I don't know him in a recovery sense. I don't. I go, so, you could, from what I've seen in recovery, there are many ways to do this thing, many ways to skin a cat. All I know is what my cat looks like today, so I can't tell you about yours, but I can tell you mine, but I didn't get into it. All I said is, nobody has the answer as it relates to this stuff. But as I look closely at my understanding and how I accepted my relationship with alcohol, as soon as I understood my relationship with alcohol, everything that I learned from that point went through that lens. And it gave me greater clarity about how to move forward. But until I was able to do that and really look at my drinking as it impacted and affected my family, my behaviors, my way of thinking, dictated how I got up, how I went to bed, and and the chronicness of my alcoholism. And I no longer put the word functional in front of the word alcoholic. I was just like, okay, or something before or after. Then I was like, all right, if this is who I am, that I need to move forward with this information, and I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't care what came first anymore. I don't care if it was the chicken or the keg.
Right.
I really don't
Right.
give a fuck. I just know that I'm an alcoholic. So what do I do with it? Where do I go from here? And that's all I needed to know. Because that's literally, if you look at the Serenity Prayer, that's literally that in action, right?
Yeah.
It's like, give me the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. Like, oh yeah, there you go. Now I have it, right? So what do you do with it? Yeah, it was a big change for me. It was a real significant eye-opener change in my entire life from that moment on. But it took a long time. I did all the things. Like it took a lifetime, literally a lifetime, to the age of 42, and I had been in treatment at the age of 15, being presented this question, and I would lie. Yes, I'm an addict. I'm totally an addict because of this, that, and this, and the other, which is all. In my mind, I'm just going to tell you everything you need to know so I can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think was the turning point to that acceptance after doing the opposite of lifetime? Yeah. Just process of elimination.
Exactly. I could know. I mean, I knew I could not do meth. That was just a given. Like anytime I touched that shit, everything just blew up. Every time it just boom, it would be, everything that they talk about, jails, institutions, and just losing jobs or people in respect and the whole 9 yards. And I just start stealing and, whatever.
Yeah.
But alcohol was a real conniver. It was a real deceptive foe, and I did not understand. And again, because I kept trying to hold on to the fact that I'm not like these people, like I'm not this guy, right? And then it took me another 15 years to play out all those options as well, right? So, and as soon as I played out all the options, again, it's like grief. Like I had to go through anger, all the getting
negotiation.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah. You're right. The last one being acceptance, right?
Yeah. So that was it. So then as soon as I did that, I'm like, okay. But that sucks because, again, let's not forget, people, there's a reason I'm talking about bladder cancer today. There's a reason why,
Right.
And I was shitting blood by the time I stopped. And so no amount of telling Carl that he has a drinking problem. I mean, I'm shitting blood. Right? I don't know how else to describe it. Other than, that Carl has a problem when there's this much impact behind it. It's like, it was hard. It was hard to come to those. Man, I was seriously lacked a lot of acceptance.
What trait on the topic of shedding, what traits or feelings did you have to let go of in order to accept?
Actually, I think that would be a good question for you to answer right now, because I've just answered two questions and I want you to answer that question.
Okay,
instead.
That's
so
fine.
What feelings or traits did you have to let go for you to accept?
Again, like I said, denial, I believe, is the opposite of acceptance. So it's not like I just let go of all my denial in one day, but I let go of the unwillingness to be open-minded to hear other possibilities. So for a long time, I think it was just out of sight, out of mind. Anything that conflicted with my idea of what problems I did or didn't have, I just wouldn't even see. And like you, kind of process of elimination, got to the point where I was out of ideas. That's the best way to describe it. I was out of ideas. So it wasn't like I just decided one morning, I think I want to be a better person. Let me try AA. It was, I did have to reach a point of desperation. And so what I had to let go of was me thinking I know everything, was my self-centeredness, was my ignorance, my arrogance, all of those things, everything that was stopping me from being willing, I had to let go of and shed. Right. And so the reason I love the term shed, and I talk about it a lot in my book, the metaphor with the snake is that the snakes shed their skin for a reason, and it's because it's been, attacked by parasites. And there's all these things that can make it sick. And so it needs to shed that skin. And as it's shedding that, a new layer is forming and growing underneath. And so that's exactly how I see it. Like the parasites were really close to the inside of my core, and I had to let go of those things. So I know it's kind of an abstract answer. But yeah, just that ego, a lot of it was shedding layers of the ego, which was painful, because when you're in this place, you're kind of in this in-between state of, okay, I'm admitting I don't know everything, but now I don't know anything. So I guess teach me something so I learn. But I really did feel like I had one foot in this new world of God knows what, and then one foot in my old world that I just couldn't go back to. Couldn't unsee once what I was starting to see, which is acceptance, when you can't unsee those things and you have to acknowledge reality.
Yeah, there's a point, like, what is the saying, like, those that say that they know don't know, right? And those what is the saying? And then, those that don't know more than likely know, right? It's like which is so true on so many levels. It's like the more I know, the less that I understand that I know.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's just like one of those truisms. I'm going to read from my
yes,
book,
please.
and it is on radical acceptance. So what I want to do is, as we talk here, is like, I think we understand that both of us had this like real struggle with accepting our alcoholism and really like owning that, coming to terms with it, whatever. But then there's a level of acceptance that goes on now that you're in recovery, now that you are staying sober, that if you don't learn to actually cultivate and have, like, it will lead you back to the bad behaviors, and it will lead you back to the drinking and using.
Yeah.
And I think I know, just based off of, like, I had that 5 years of sobriety when I was younger, like clearly I did not have like an understanding of my condition, nor did I have an acceptance of what was happening. Right. So I was headed back to a drink like nobody's business. Like it just a matter of time. So this time around, I actually, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to be more, I wanted to get this thing, and I struggled still, because yeah, it's one thing to accept your alcoholism. Now accept all these other things. Now accept all this other behavior. It's like you just start to look at it and go, damn, this is some real ugly shit. I don't want to look at it. So, so I came up with this writing based off of that, which is based off of how my sponsor would talk to me a lot, right? So here it is. It's like radical acceptance is for January 10th. So radical acceptance is what is needed today. Good or bad, accept the shit out of it. It is what it is. You lost your job, so what? The best thing you can do is lean into it. You lost your job and your best friend is dying, but what can you do about it? You lost your job, your best friend died, and your car broke down. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Update your resume, make a few phone calls, and don't sweat it. Pray for your friend and reach out to others who are also feeling the pain of your friend's absence. It's okay. Call someone who can help you with your car, but don't get all fucking worked up. It's just a waste of energy. Reflections. Why do I lose my shit when things don't go my way? What can I do to help myself not feel angry or frustrated during these moments? Daily challenge. Write a list of people willing to help you when the moment arises. Take some time to feel grateful for those relationships in that moment. So for me, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it is like probably like the number one thing that I grasped and held on to in so many of the more challenging moments of my recovery, right? Because, and it's simple shit, and you don't think that like it is. Like sometimes it's like, and then again, sometimes doing nothing is the thing to do, right?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of
And
the
so,
time, I would say.
yeah,
For
but
me.
well, and again, let it simmer, right? Like just fucking sit on it, and But if there is something to do, there is something to do, right? And
Yeah.
you will,
Yeah.
again, whether it's updating your resume, filling out job applications, whatever the thing is that you're trying to get past, there is something to do, and sometimes that is to do nothing, but it's how we respond to the things around us and that could mean, are we just responding in anger? Are we just saying, are we throwing hammers at the nail that just bent? Like what is it that we're actually doing? So what do you think about that reading? What comes to mind for you?
God, that guy can't get a break. Was that based on a true story?
That's me.
That's literally you?
That's me writing the book. Yeah.
No, but like the car broke down and the friend was dying and all at one time?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were giving kind of a hypothetical example.
No,
Wow.
my sponsor is dying. He's my best friend. My my car broke down. I had to get it repaired, and then he died. So it literally is like all of those things are literally what I did and had to do. And I'm telling myself, I want to cry saying this. I'm telling myself these things because this is what my sponsor would have told me, right? And he's the one dying in this reading. So yeah, that's it. Like my best friend is dying after 8 years of having the best friend that I call every week.
Yeah,
we talk for hours. He's dying when I write this. So yeah.
Wow.
So talk about radical acceptance. I'm like, what would he tell me to do? He'd tell me to like update your resume. He'd tell me to like, call somebody up you with the car. He'd say all this shit. And there's nothing I could do about my friend dying but do what? But pray and look to others and see where I can be of service. That's what he would tell me to do. That's who exactly he was. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's like a testament to him, right? How that reading comes full circle.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to understand our habits in moments of crises and what helps, what doesn't help, who to call. As it's hard to practice that radical acceptance in that moment, but more so what are the tools and techniques we can use in order to go to a place of radical acceptance more gracefully.
Yeah, without throwing a man fit.
Yeah. Oh, a man fit. Yeah. Those are the best. Just see where men throw tantrums and you can get to the childhood wounds pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on what men and women. It's not a thing, but it's like,
you're right. It's not a gender fit. It's
not a
fits.
gender thing.
Yeah.
It's not a gender thing, but it's like, see where adults throw their tantrums and that's just what it is. It's a tantrum. And we were talking about this a bit last week, but like, how would you kind of treat a child in this situation? So I think giving yourself that same level of care and love, and this too shall pass, whether it's good or bad. Like every emotion and every thought is transient. And that was when my therapist told me that. I couldn't even, because it feels forever when you're in it. You can't see anything else. I get blinded by the crisis or the emotion it's always been like this and it's always going to be like this. Like that's truly what my mind tells me. It's the end of the world. Yeah. Whether it's just a feeling, whether I'm just in a spiral in my head and there's no friend dying and no, flat tire. So, just knowing that everything's transient and when I think of that stuff, and I don't know if it's a right way to think of it, but when something happened, when my wallet got stolen, this and that, I'm just like, it was my turn. You know, I have a lot of good days and a lot of good things that happen to me. Or when I get sick, you know, like it's just my turn. And then it's your turn, you know, like none of us are immune to those things. And I have a lot of days where my wallet doesn't get stolen. You know what I mean? Like it sucks, but what am I going to do?
Yeah. Hopefully you have more days where your wallet doesn't get stolen than when you do.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But
so if you look at it that way.
Yeah. I think you're saying that the you know, the right things to hear for other people as well, which is like, you know, the things that happen to people that are not in recovery are the same things that happen to the people in recovery. So you can't expect that you're going to be immune from the world, which is, I did, by the way. I'm like, I'm
really?
super sober. I am like, I am super sober. Nothing's going to touch me now. Like, you know, I thought I neatly evaded.
Like
you
were canonized.
Yeah. I neatly evaded the lung disease and the bladder cancer somehow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm in recovery. You know, 5 years later, I'm getting my lung cut out. I'm like, oh, shit. You know, so I learned that lesson real quick, right? Because I'm like, oh, yeah, like there is a price to be paid. And the things that happen to me are just basically all a result of just being human. And it has nothing necessarily to do with, like, you know, I'm not getting punished for my bad behaviors, etc.
Right.
These are just results of behaviors, and existing in the world, right? You just, like, some of us have some luck in other areas, others don't. You know, I mean, George Burns was a famous old comedian. He smoked like, I don't know, 9 cigars a day, and he booked the Taj Mahal for his 100th birthday, but he didn't make it. You know, and so he died at like age 98 or 99 or something. But dude smoked, you know, 6 cigars a day and just, like, you know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers. So some people can do that, other people can't. You know, I apparently am one of those people that can't be smoking a pack a day since the age of fucking 12.
You know? And everyone loves those anecdotes, don't they? They love the Uncle Joe who drank every night and lived till he was 98, and they love that.
They love to hold that up. Yeah.
You don't have to eat healthy because my grandma had a burger for lunch every day, and you know, like.
But the majority of people who do that do have something happen to them. Just FYI.
Let's test it. Let's test it. Let me know how it works out.
Totally true. Yeah, I mean, once again, you know, change the things you can. You know, so, but I guess the point being is that, you know, I thought that I was immune from the things that were going to happen to me, and I'm not. And so you have to be prepared to understand. So it's not about, like, putting on this, like, you know, Pollyanna view of the world, like, you know, that everything's going to be great, because and ignoring this other stuff. You can't just, like, go along and be like, well, I'm just going to I'm going to smoke 2 packs a day, and, well, I guess I'll just have to accept that shit when it comes, or whatever, this ignorance of viewing the world. No, it's like, now that you know the difference, you need to act differently. And again, you still take the time to consider the worst that may happen, right? So that you understand what you're dealing with, so that you prepare yourself. I mean, you don't want to be suddenly surprised. Like with me, it's like, oh, you know, I got a cancer diagnosis. I'm not suddenly surprised with that. You want to know why? Because I gave it some consideration, because I had already gone through my lung disease. I have seen other people that in recovery get cancer and die. I know that it's possible, right? So there's a certain level of acceptance that I have about it today, that I don't have to, like, you know, get angry or frustrated, quote unquote, when those things happen. Partly and because I've been dealing with levels of acceptance for so many other things in my life that I prepared myself for this to happen, right? You know, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, apparently.
Maybe don't say that to someone, like, as soon as they receive the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Not the language the doctor could use. Like, this is all about timing and tact. So
yeah, the doctor would be like, well, looks like you got cancer. You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Well, actually, maybe that's good. Like, you're in my office. You're exactly where you're
I guess. Well, yeah. Right on time.
Right on time.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I really have noticed that in you, though. That level of acceptance in how you talk about it. And it's very inspiring. And for any listeners who have been on this journey with you, yeah, it really is. It really is. Because that's not how everyone reacts to it. And I can't say anything because I haven't experienced that. But
but again, if you do, I can tell you right now, the best way to do it is not the other side, right? Like when you see people misery and they run around in the woe is me bullshit and da da da. There's just no point in that. It's like you either do what you can do or you don't, right? Like you just whatever. So I do want to know more from you. I know that there's the last part of your reading, and I really want you to talk about that, because that is the idea of the results of acceptance, the results of being willing, the results of staying open-minded. To me, it's like you encapsulate that as in what it's like to be a snake. Can you read that again?
Yeah. So I say, beginning the shedding process is the initiation of self-discovery. It may be scary and painful, but it is necessary. After all, just like the snake, your growth has been happening underneath. What you are letting go is also letting go of you. Do not be so stuck in your ways that you can't shift with the world around you or the world within you. Let your imagination run wild. Let your growth take you on a new route, even if you don't quite know where it's leading. Don't be so fixed in your ways that you can't allow new possibilities and fresh awareness to enter. I go on to say,
read that part. Before I embarked.
Oh, okay. Before I embarked on my healing journey, I thought I was a bad person who was beyond redemption. I had lost all hope and had nothing to look forward to. I warned people not to let me in their lives because I was a natural disaster. I would tornado into others' orbits and cause complete chaos, all the while looking for anything or anyone else to blame. But I realized that wasn't who I really am. I was just lost. Once I started letting bad habits shed, I started operating more naturally. I finally stepped away, got out of my head, detached, loosened up, and viewed life from a different perspective. Let your body and your soul go through ectasis.
Say it now.
Shedding. Ectasis. Slough off that old skin and leave it in the past. Let it become part of the earth again. Those clothes don't fit your spirit anymore. They don't fit you anymore. Be like a snake. Bend and glide, flex and contract. Shed what no longer serves you. Stay alert, vigilant, agile, strategic, versatile. Accept yourself, then let yourself shine and slither more effortlessly, stronger than ever before.
So for me, and I don't know about you, so we both come from 12-step recovery. That's just like how we found our way into and navigate the current state of recovery. I do that because it works for me. You can choose to do whatever it is that you want to do, not you, but the listener, right?
Absolutely.
And but there are some core lessons to be learned here. And it's so funny because you always hear it like, it'll out in the periphery or out in the world, there'll be books that start selling. And those books like basically will be like, what was the one, there was a movement of like, it doesn't spark joy for me, so I'm going to get rid of it. What was that? Spark joy movement?
The magic, the life-changing magic of tidying up. It's the Marie
book,
Kondo
right? That's a book title.
Method. Yeah.
So the funny thing is like that stuff does come from, if believe it or not, 12-step worlds that I have been a part of in my recovery. So even before that book came out, this is what I was doing. I was running through 4-step stuff, and in the 4-step stuff, it's not necessarily in the big book, but it is adjacent, and it is recommended that while you're doing your 4-step, it is recommended that you actually go through your closet and do a physical cleaning as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like, it's like one of those things, like in certain recovery circles, that it becomes part of the thing, and talk about the shedding. It's like, so when we're doing our 4th step, there's a thing that people, there's like 3 words that people talk about when it comes to the 12 steps. They said, I uncover, I discover, and I discard, right? These are the 3 words that they talk about. I uncover,
like
discover,
that.
and discard. And so that's basically the process of the 4th step right there in a nutshell in those 3 words. So for me, I was uncovering, I was discovering, and I was discarding. And one of the things that like I did is I went with a big hefty bag up to my closet, and I was like, I am fucking uncovered. Like I just anything that I hadn't worn in like a year time, I just grabbed everything, regardless of the like, sentimental value. I could like, because honestly, and that's the thing is, there were some things that I had sentimental value over, but I was like, you know what, like, do I really need to hold this? Like, what am I going to do with this? Like, I mean, if anything, I should just take a picture of it and throw it away, right? I'm never going to wear it. So I got there and I just started hooking things. I should probably do it again, actually. But I started
I do it.
things.
I do it on a regular basis. Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. There was a belt buckle that my mother gave to me, and I don't know why she gave it to me, because I'll never wear it. It's not something that, whatever. It was from my stepfather, which a man I absolutely have no respect for. I could not have any, he could not come off the bottom of my boot hard enough. And the belt buckle said, "Let's fuck," right? And it was a big metal belt. See, my mother was giving me something of his for memory, because that's my mother, right? So she gave me a belt buckle. It's a big old, cowboy belt buckle too. It says "Let's fuck" on it, and I am, every time I saw that in my closet, every time I was, and I had to move it around, and it's there, it's laying around, doing whatever. Not like I've ever put it in a special spot, but every time I see that, what do you think goes through my mind? Right? That motherfucker, that son of a bitch, that fucking, and every morning I see that, I just see "Let's fuck," and I think, I'm like, what, how fucking terrible that feels, just every drip of that bullshit anger that was inside of me all the time. And then I threw that fucking thing away, and this is the first time I've even thought about it in, I don't know, 7 years. I don't know, maybe I talked about it on the podcast before.
So freeing.
But just getting rid of that "let's fuck" bullshit mindset absolutely freed me. And it is something that, like, if you do that metaphorically on your paper with your 4th step and you're going through that stuff, there's a certain amount of that does happen. But I'll tell you, going through physically and getting into stuff like that absolutely frees your mind on a daily basis that you maybe didn't understand was happening. So I think of that kind of stuff. When you talk about shedding, I think that's a real physical act, but the metaphorical stuff of going through the process of figuring yourself out and doing all those types of things, uncover, discover, and discarding. Like, did you find that process of like writing it down and going through that process of the 4th step and and doing the amends and all that stuff, did you find that as freeing as I did? Because it really worked for me. It was something that I cannot tell others more, like, I guess adamantly, that process worked. Whether you believe in God or not, I don't care. Whether you get into spirituality or meditation or you go to meetings, I don't give a fuck. But just going through that process alone would have freed me more than I ever understood. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's really what I experienced. The people changed in my mind. And it was all because of me. It was all because I was able to change my perspective and thus change my relationship to those people. In my mind, everyone has a copy of my book and can refer to page 43. Exactly what you're talking about, which is like that's such a great story about the belt buckle, because it's like so symbolic of those things that we keep around. And I give this example in my book. I say your outer space reflects your inner space. And I talk about this double XL Scarface t-shirt that I used to love coming home to. It was my hangover shirt. And it, signified that the whole day would be spent in bed. And I held on to it for years into my sobriety. And I would have days like that where I just put on that shirt and slum around. And I'm like, what? And some of that is, I did experience a grief of that identity. Like I definitely held on to that persona even into sobriety. And so once I get rid of that, it makes such a difference, the physical surroundings. So I just wanted to concur with what you said, and it makes sense, right? And it's holding on to that energy. And of course it was like from my first ever boyfriend that, so all of the memories that
all that stuff attached to that. Yeah, for sure.
All of it. Right. And how many times did I wear that walking around the house in shame and just disgust with myself, and then bringing all that back. I think I just enjoyed the suffering, to be honest. Right. And probably you to a certain point. Like the punishment. I loved it.
Like, no doubt. Yeah.
Every day was that belt buckle. Right. But yeah. So I can relate a lot to that. And you're right. People don't talk about that part. That's why I love that Living Sober book. I don't think it talks about that specific topic, but there's a lot of like practical steps and ways you can clean up your life.
Talking about that, sobriety. If you go back, if you're a listener, if you go back like to 2022, we have an episode that says New Beginnings, and it's me and Chelsea as a co-host. So Chelsea is the co-host. You never met her, but you may someday. But we actually listened to the book Living Sober, like each chapter, and then we would have a discussion on it. Awesome. So much like we do like this. So if you go back to the episode New Beginnings, that's where it's actually the number one listened to episode, because I've promoted it. We can link it. Yeah.
In the show notes.
I'll link to the Spotify list of that. Okay.
That's
so
awesome.
So Lindsey,
go
for it.
I was just going to say, probably where you're going. But what would you say to someone who's struggling to accept themselves or something in their lives right now? Like that specific thing that's kind of nagging them.
So, one, I guess, the elephant in the room. If you're listening to a sobriety podcast, clearly you may be questioning your relationship with alcohol, right? Yeah. And if you've made it this far in the episode, you are truly, don't question anymore. If you listened to all this far, you probably are. So
they could just be in love with me.
Yeah, that's true. They could be infatuated with me in my blue fucking eyes. Yeah, there you go. Highly doubtable. But anyway, so I think what I would tell people who are questioning their relationship with alcohol is that, again, most time you don't question your relationship with alcohol unless you have a problem with alcohol. So I would say in that case, make sure that you're reaching out, that you're talking to somebody, that you're being honest, that maybe that you find there's professional help out there. There are, many of, if you think going to treatment is going to impact your quality of life, you know what? It 100% will, but maybe not in a bad way. And that, there's outpatient services, there are class services, there are in your own time kind of services. And if not, then, talk to a counselor, talk to a therapist, see what you can do to really, I guess, own some of your own bullshit. And then the other thing is that, and I try to say this from an ACA perspective, because, dysfunction is a different animal as well. Sometimes, people listening who have a drinking problem aren't necessarily alcoholic. So what I would like to say to you, if you're not an alcoholic, if you're truly not alcoholic, and that you just have a problem drinking or with substances or something else, this is the acceptance part, which is everything that you have done in your life has led you to this moment, right? And more than likely, anybody given your set of circumstances and conditions will end up here too. So you're not alone in that behavior, right? Anybody giving your set of circumstances would have put you in this chair, right? So that's a level of acceptance that I had to understand about myself and about who I was, who I truly really am, how I was raised, my socioeconomic, my biopsychosocial behaviors, all those things, right? Anybody would have put me in this chair doing this podcast. Like any of those things to happen to anybody would more than likely result in this, so I couldn't be ashamed anymore about who I was and how I operate and what I have to own in order to make that better, right? So it's not just the alcoholism, it's everything else beyond that. So Lindsey, what would you tell somebody who is struggling to accept themselves right now in the situations that they're in? What would you say?
I would say to accept yourself in the situation that you're in right now. Understand that you can preserve the learnings and the lessons of what you've been through in your life without carrying that shame around. So seeing each experience and your pain as a portal to a new place or to a portal to possibility rather than a liability or a point of morbid reflection and self-hatred. So I have learned something from everything I've been through, and I can carry those lessons and that wisdom with me rather than the event itself and all of the feelings associated. So you are where you're meant to be. And there's a reason you're listening to this podcast right now. Truly.
Yeah, you fucking losers.
You can laugh, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
No, I just think that one person that heard that just now and his sphincter tightened and he just wanted to throw his phone
That's
out
fine.
of the car.
Well, that one person is you. So
I know. It's old me, right? Like I could hear that today and really own it, but I just love that.
I
love that so much. Okay, I'm doing what my sponsor would do. I'm on the other side giggling, right? I'm laughing.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Yep.
Okay, because I know.
And we need.
And by the way, and I think a lot of what we spoke about here in terms of acceptance is like, the simple stuff of this too shall pass. It's very clear that like, I just texted with somebody on Reddit. I post on this group, Dinosaurs in Recovery. I post on this group. You get invited there after you get a year, and there was somebody I just followed up with because they were having a bad time about 5 days ago, and I just said, "Hey, how you doing today?" And they were literally like, they posted initially like, "Everything's great, thank you," and I was thinking about saying, "Oh, this too shall pass." And then I didn't get to it, thank God, because then this person said, yeah, I posted that, and then a half hour ago I just found out my dad died, and it was just like,
wow.
I mean, it just reminded me of like, I was thinking about posting this too shall pass, but yeah, sometimes this too shall pass happens, but then other things worse can happen, right? So it's really about taking one moment at a time, one day at a time, and just really trying to get through it the best that we can, because not everything is flowery, fucking pithy statements of this too shall pass. Sometimes it is about just fucking doing the worst you can and staying sober and going to bed and doing it all again tomorrow, even if it is your fucking house getting on fire after that, It is just the human experience after all.
Well, yeah, and understanding that this too shall pass applies to the good moments too. So not trying to hold on or chase those things. Like this too shall pass can kind of just keep you centered and balanced from moment to moment, good or bad. Because I can have just as much fear come up from trying to hold on to an emotion than trying to evade or avoid a feeling. Yeah. So
and that's the radical acceptance portions of this broadcast.
Tara Brock. You're familiar, I can tell. So my final parting words will be trust your truth. And what do you say, Carl?
I say stay active, stay sober, like, subscribe, follow, buy the books. And don't forget to go to Lindsey's website for your?
Oh yeah,
your
I'll give you a
experience?
link.
Yeah, what
I'll
do you-
give you a link for it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, party people. That's it. Or ex-party people. See ya.
Soberpod.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sight to see him. Breakfast with Sprite and Seagrams. Wrestling with my vices, exercising my demons. My blessings were blocked, so I never got the message. I'm stressing, I'm only 12 steps from an exit. Regret it, because my imperfections were perfected. I ain't run from it, I accept it and rep it. It's a badge to me, good stories come from a tragedy. And when you survive, the glory will come in Act 3. The wait's over, 366 days sober. Morning affirmations that can start the day for you. Use my favorite bookmark for a placeholder. Finish when the day's over. Okay. Yeah, sober pod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.